Hello YouTubers and random Doctor Who fans, it's me Ozzy, and today we're going to be turning this into a Space Museum Dalek with a little Willy inside it. It'll make sense, trust me. So the materials you are going to need for this project are...
Okay, so for materials, what you're going to need is obviously your Planet of the Daleks drone from the B&M set. You need a Dalek Invasion of Earth drone, or a Dead Planet Dalek, it doesn't matter which one. And a William Hartnell from the Sensorites set. Now, I recommend the Sensorites set because then you don't have to customise an expensive figure. It's fairly cheap. Then you're going to need some milliput. Then you're going to need a can of white primer high coat spray paint. Then you're going to need a titanium silver, or just any silver as long as it's not Rust-Oleum, because Rust-Oleum is awful. Some masking tape, a Phillips head screwdriver, some pliers, some Loctite precision superglue, and a Dremel. Then you're going to need a clear gloss varnish, any will do but I chose Humbrol because I had it, a Citadel black pot paint, and some sanding paper or wet and dry paper. So first of all we're going to take apart our Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek. Now what you're going to do is remove the back, and obviously we're going to fill that in with milliput later. So get your screwdriver and unscrew the base. Then you're going to have to unscrew the head. And the neck rings just come off, just pull them all off. Then in the cage section you've got two screws which you have to unscrew. And now you probably know at this point that to take a Dalek apart you have to take off the hemispheres located here and here, but personally I just snip the cross beams in the middle. I know it's not preferred, but for this custom it is essential because you're going to be putting a Doctor figure inside it. Just be careful not to damage the plastic on the outside in any way, because it can bend and warp the plastic if you're not careful. So next up you're going to want to take your Dremel and one of the thin attachments and just basically Dremel this top section off because it's not needed. Just be very careful you don't cut yourself or damage the Dalek in any way that is not necessary. Then on the other side do exactly the same. And what you're going to have to do is get one of the sanding tool things for the Dremel and just sand away the excess plastic. Then get a sheet of sandpaper or wet and dry and in circular motion just rub against it to make sure the top is flush, to get rid of all the excess plastic and all that kind of stuff, just make it as smooth as possible. Now the most fun part of the build, which is the neck section. So what you're going to need to do is get some Loctite superglue and dab very gently, very sporadically, bits of superglue, and then you're going to glue this all together. Just make sure it's aligned properly. One after one, just repeat this process and just make sure that the front section is aligned, so all the struts are aligned. This is pivotal because once you glue it, then that's it. So make sure you get it right first time. Okay, well now it's Billy's time to die. Sorry, Bill. No one knows what it's like. So first up, we're going to have to remove the arms, and my god, how cheap is this B&M figure? My god. I just want to make sure that its head fits in the Dalek, which it doesn't with the arm stubs still on, so we're going to have to remove those, and that looked very sexual. So take your pliers and remove William's arms. Please no! What did I ever do to you? You wanna die now? Die! Die, 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 die! And yeah, it almost fits, but what you're gonna have to do is sand it down a little bit later, but we'll get onto that. So then we're gonna cut off the bottom of the jacket. It's basically remove anything that's not necessary and won't be seen because there's not much point having it really. Then you're gonna wanna remove the knee downwards with your pliers. So underneath you're going to want to cut out the bottom cross beam because he won't fit. So yeah, glue in the neck section on. It's all pretty self-explanatory, just make sure you line it up correctly and make sure that the body is actually flush and there's no gaps or anything. Then we're going to want to Dremel out the tabs on the inside of the neck section because they're just ghastly looking and look very factory-like, so just get rid of those. Then we're going to want to take apart the Planet Dalek. Remove the top section, and wow, you can see what this mechanism looks like. Pretty cool. So make sure you remove the eye stalk And you want to take your pliers and cut out all the beams on the inside of the dome, and doing so releases the headlights much easier, so just get your pliers and take those. Just be careful not to warp them too much, because you might want to use these for another custom in future. So then you're going to want to take your milliput and you're going to want to fill in the headlight gaps, and obviously get some wet and dry and sand that so it's flush once it's dried. Then for the Dalek Invasion of Earth dome, unscrew everything, take out the eye and snip out the headlights. Then you're going to absolutely destroy this mutant bit and just completely hollow it out with your Dremel, and then once it's done, sand it to make sure it's smooth and uniform. So we're going to take the high coat white primer and we're going to prime this dome that we've kind of created. So yeah, after you've painted this white, you're going to want to mask off the ring area because that still wants to be white. Then you're going to want to spray the whole thing silver, and taking your clear coat of choice, you're going to obviously give it a coat, and yeah, just so it is a bit more shiny and a bit more uniform. Okay, so we're going to want to mask off the top bit of the ring section to keep that white, because on the prop it is white, of course. Then taking our Citadel black paint, we just want to paint the trim just so it's all black and uniform. Then we'll peel that away and you can see the white ring is still retained. Then you want to paint the inside of the dome black. And yeah, for the Dalek Invasion eye stalk, you just want to put it in and then put some milliput in the bottom to hold it securely. Then for the headlights, get some pliers and snip the excess plastic off. Then get a little dab of Loctite and then stick it into place. There you go, we got our little cute Dalek Invasion of Earth head. So now it is time for the final reveal.
So here it is, the first Doctor in Dalek from the Space Museum. Now overall I'm pretty happy with this. Sorry, there's not going to be an awful lot of glamorous shots because I'm trying to just get this wrapped up as quickly as I can, but essentially what you see is what you get, and I'll just demonstrate the functions of it as well. It was just one of those ideas which I just had, and I thought, wouldn't that be a cool idea, because we've kind of got all the parts pretty much pre-made for us, and all I had to do was sand stuff and repaint stuff, and you know, a really easy custom. I hope you guys do have a go at this, but let me just show you the features of it. So what you have to do is you have to push the Doctor down in order to shut the Dalek dome. Now this, yeah, sure, it's a little bit annoying, but what can you do? I mean, you permanently have a Dalek in that pose, but you got to remember, in the episode it was like this. It did have its eye stalk up and its head dead centered, so I'm not too bothered about that. You can just have it in the background as a regular goon if you're doing like a 60s story or something, or an animation. It does kind of work. So yeah, obviously it uses the Planet of the Dalek sculpt, so the dome is quite large, but you know, it all blends together relatively well anyway. I think the silver isn't too bad of a match, but it's not as glossy as the factory paint, because, well, they used factory paint, so there's not an awful lot that I can do about that. So yeah, then you open up this and you can see the white rim across, which works really well, and then you just pull Willy up. And there you go, it just sticks in place automatically, so there you are. I think it's really cool, it's really fun, it's really neat, and yeah, hang on. On the inside you can see, obviously because we've not just cut the head off, we've put the body in there as well, you can actually see his cravat and jacket, and it just works really well. You can't tell that he has no legs, I am absolutely over the moon with how this thing has come out. And yeah, you can see I painted the inside of the dome black, which works really well. Obviously you need to shut the dome to make it look like how it did in the episode where he's kind of peeking out of the head, but yeah, overall guys, super happy with this thing, and hope you guys like it, and please show me yours if you attempt this custom. So with that in mind, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.